Okay, I'd like to welcome all to this evening's Lakeview Public Schools Board of Education budget hearing, which is an annual event every year, and tonight is it at 7 p.m. here at the boardroom at the educational campus. I'd like to call the attention the board, the agenda for the 2024-2025 budget hearing. Mr. Paulson.
Thanks, sir. We have gone through the exercise of trying to make some estimates and some projections on 2024-25's budget. We start our fiscal year July 1. Unfortunately for us, the state doesn't start their fiscal year till September 1. But either way, we will have a budget in front of our board to approve later in June. And I'll pass the process along to our Executive Director and CFO, Mr. Eric Lynn.
Welcome. We're going to kind of walk through a couple of different things today. Like Carl said, we're going to do estimated projections. We are still waiting on legislation in Lansing and some other factors. If this thing will work. All right, let's do it. Oh, there we go. So just a couple of things. I skipped the slide and it's going quick. We're going to do just from an agenda perspective, we're going to go through an introduction, kind of walk through the process of how we develop our budget, talk about fund structures, budgets by funds. We'll kind of give a brief overview of truth and taxation, proposed millage rates, and then we'll kind of open it up for questions if there are any at the end. So for right now, purpose of our hearing today is we have to comply with the Uniform Budgeting Act. It's a requirement. It's also going to summarize some of the information that we're going to go through for our 24-25 budget, and also gives both the board and the public a chance to kind of weigh in and give input as we go along. If I go too fast and you want me to pause and answer questions, feel free to do that too. So we want to make sure that, you know, it's as collaborative as possible. But like Carl said, we did go through and look at our assumptions, look at some things along the way. By way of introduction, let's see. I'll wait for this to catch up. From introduction, and we'll let the slides catch up then, the hearing is requested to adopt the budget. It's a formal project to appropriate district funds for our general fund, and the administration can make line item adjustments throughout the year, and then our adjusted amended budget would come before the board subsequent to that. This is not good. Oh. Now it's catching up. Yeah, it's going backwards.
Maybe just go over there?
Yeah, maybe. Thank you. All right. So here are some of the funds for our 24-25 budget that we will touch on. We'll touch on the general fund, which is our main fund. We have a food service fund, school activity funds, capital project funds, and both our debt bond and our actual bond funds too would be the other two that we want to touch. For the next slide then, Carl. Oh, she's got them timed. Yep, keep going. So it's a bottom-up approach. We start with assumptions internally. We look at wage structures, benefits that are out there, supply costs, and then we're currently, and we will meet with the rest of the staff, the admin heads. So we've been doing that all this week. We've got more next week so that when we come to you in June, we've had a chance to talk about their unique needs, and then also kind of look at the revenue that could support those needs. And after we compile all of that, we'll put it to the superintendent's review, take the budget hearing, which is kind of what we're doing right now, and then the final action item from the board will be on the 18th of June. So the next slide are kind of our budget highlights. Oh, no. So here's the basics of some of the functionality, I guess, of state funding. We'll get 6 mills that'll come in from state education dollars to go to Lansing, and they're coming back through our student foundation allowance. There's state grants, so we have ESSERs and some of these other COVID grants too that we look at and examine. And one of the big things is labor cost, obviously, because 85% of our expenses are through through labor costs. So when you try to retain and attract talent with labor shortages, we have to address that as well. So on the expense side, that again makes up about 85%. I'm just going to keep So you can't see it up here, but in Lansing right now, what is going on is there's 3 proposals. There's one from the House, one from the Senate, and then one from the executive branch. They're all different, but they're all kind of relatively close. The lowest one in the House is about 2.25%. We're about $215 to $217 per pupil. And then the highest one is coming from the Senate, which is 3.1, and what lies in the middle is the executive branch. For the purposes of our budget, we took the conservative route and went with the lower House proposal until we kind of know how it shakes out. So we didn't want to overestimate the revenue and not, make expense decisions based on that. So for what you see today for our budget proposals and assumptions, we're assuming the House's rate of 2.25 or the $215 to $17 per pupil. We are in a 90-10 mix, so from a student perspective, about 10% of it's coming from your summer FTE count, and then 90% is going to be your fall enrollment. So we have to wait for enrollment to come in a little bit too, so there's some assumptions made around that as well. In this budget, which would be slide 11, Carl, will be grants that'll be removed or exhausted. There's 3 of them that we wanted to kind of call out. There's the 98C, which is a mental health grant, so that will go away. The supply chain for in the food service fund will be about $110,000. That'll go away. And then this year, we still have $300 that carried over from 2023-24 for the ESSER 3 grant. So grants that are kind of going to be moving away from us, a total about $622,000. So as we talked about before, there are current unknowns. Some of these, again, we're waiting on state finalized numbers. We have to wait for our 23-24 budget to finalize in June, so we know what our ending fund balance is. And then obviously we'll go through the audit process too to get a independent review for that as well. We're again waiting on the enrollment, state aid actual number, which we talked about, which is in legislation. And just as Carl teed off to let everybody know, there is a timing difference between the state's budget and then the school budget, June 30th being the end of the school budget starting July 1, and October 1st being the beginning of the state budget. So we included this, we walked through this, and we adopted it at the last board meeting. It's just more of an illustration that kind of show you the thought that went behind it for those that maybe weren't here at the board meeting. We kind of go by lines and functions, so we kind of a little bit more granular than what you'll see tonight when we walk through the budget. But we went through this process, and we'll go through this process again on the 18th of June when we propose both the final budget and then the proposed budget for 24-25. Going to general fund revenue, again, the state aid, we're waiting on legislation. Our foundation allowance, we'll consider at the regular board meeting in June 18. Our primary source, about 85% of our revenue that comes in is from state aid from the state of Michigan. Our general fund revenue, here we're kind of just dissecting what we talked about 215 per pupil. From a pace perspective, I think from pre-enrollments, we were about, I think Carl was about 18 people pre-enrollees up. We still have a way to go, but our estimate moving forward was 25 new students. Last year we were down 25, so this would essentially bring us back to level from where we were 22-23. And then we talked about the ESSER fund, and then we have a countywide millage enhancement, which is back in 2020, I think it was 1.9 mils that's levied for the next 10 years. So as the property values go up, so is that rate. So it went from about $555 down to, up to about $593 per pupil. And what that translates into an overall funding is about $2,481,000. Expenditures, and I misspoke earlier, I said 85% for staffing costs is 81%, so we talked about that. We're anticipating a MIPSR one-time rate reduction. We were conservative in this. I think Carl said it could go all the way up to 4 or 5%, but for the purpose of just conservatism, we were incorporating a 2% buy-down rate for the retirement plan in this budget as well. So that was kind of a bigger item year over year we wanted to highlight. And then we're doing all of this still with continued support and programming for student, learning loss, mental health, safety initiatives, and things like that. So that's on the expenditure side of our budget. We did Usually, if we have excess and surplus, we'll transfer money over to our capital projects fund. This particular budget would be proposed a $1 million transfer, and it would also add, I don't know if it's on this slide, or I'm getting, $70,000 to our general fund as well. So in excess is about 1.7, or 1,770,000. And again, we reiterate the 25 new FTEs, $215. And it's kind of maintaining the current staffing level. So even if some of the grant money went away, it'll move from some of the grant funding and be supported by the general fund. So we wanted to show just kind of a very long snapshot of where our FTEs were from 2009 all the way through. If you ran a regression analysis, you'd probably be within a margin of error. You do have a dip there in 2022, but we're expecting about 4.240 for the year 24-25. And then there's a note too, I didn't want to just gloss over it too, that there was a 37% growth since 2009. So overall, there is growth in the FTEs within the district. This is just a snapshot kind of where general fund balance has been over time, and then this stops at 2014. If we meet that mark or exceed it, we would essentially add another 70,000, because we're planning to add 70,000 for the 2024-25 budget to that fund balance. But the hope is by the end of June 30th, we're at 10,000,008 or better, and then we would add that 70 in 24-25. So just a historical snapshot of where we were in some of the down years back where you had 800,000 of fund balance, and how it's grown up to 10 million over time. So food service challenges, we had talked about a grant kind of going away. That's the supply chain grant. We are from the state of Michigan talking about spend down plans. So you are allowed to have 3 months of a 9-month operating cycle within your fund. And once you exceed that, the state gives you a little letter. It's always 1 year in arrears. They'll give you a little letter saying you need to spend it down to get your fund balance down to that mark. So we are in excess of that, some of the state and federal grants that are coming in for food service. And then the management of food service too has allowed us to have an excess fund balance. So we're reinvesting essentially in the equipment, the facilities that serve food for the students. So we're working on, we have about 300,000 approximately of a spend down plan this fiscal year to wrap up. We're probably, in all reality, only going to spend 75% of that. The other 25%, we're going to go and move that into 24-25, and then we can know approximately where we'll be from an audit perspective. So instead of waiting until the last quarter to make these decisions, we can get ahead of it another quarter. So halfway through the year, we got an estimate kind of if everything comes to fruition of what we'll need to spend down moving forward. So that's kind of the gist of the food service. Food service funds, what we just talked about too, so you probably notice you got 1.98 million in revenue, and you have more money going out the door. A lot of that is we do a fund balance transfer of 70,000, but it's the equipment I talked about too, which is a unique draw, which will be here this year and start winding itself down moving forward. So the bonds and paying down, we're expected to have about earnings from interest and dividends interest of about 332,000. Right now, the interest rates environment's favorable, and you're making 4 or 5% at least on all your instruments. And then Series 1, Series 2 works. They're going to be, Series 1 is going to be winding down, Series 2, 24. And then there's some of the projects we're listing, Greenwood, Harmon, some of the high school things, a new wing and an auditorium, significant athletic area. There's technology upgrades throughout the district, and we expect out of this grant to spend down about 10 million to kind of achieve what we need in 24-25. So that's what you see in that last line. Capital projects, we talked about, touched on this earlier, we're going to transfer, hopefully, at the end of the day, 1 million to cover any type of shortfall that might happen through the bond projects, but also set up for future things. So if you need a new roof on a building, a new parking lot, that money, there's a sufficient amount of money for those larger projects to be there. So if we do the million and then the 70,000, 1 million of that would go for future use of capital projects. And then, like we said, we talked about roofs, technology needs to replace in the future. That might not be covered by a bond. Debt retirement funds, expecting to collect about 5.5 million and then spend about 5.1, which would leave us with a balance about 5.4. We're waiting on a little bit of data from one of our accounting firms too, but overall, we should be compliant, not having too much of an excess to subject us to risk sitting in that account. So right now, it'll kind of amortize itself throughout the couple of years, but it seems like everybody's comfortable, and if there's any adjustments we'll need to make, then we'll make them before the 18th when we meet again. Truth in taxation, this is kind of your legal jargon talking about rollbacks. The millage, the homestead voters did a 20-year non-homestead millage with an override. So the bottom line is this means Lakeview will be able to levy essentially the full 18 mills on non-homestead property. And then we'll talk a minute on the two divisions of it, homestead and non-homestead, on the next slide. We got to publish a legal note, which we've done. So we're compliant as far as that goes. The notice to the state, you can see that there. And then the last, like we said, yep, there you go. So here's the millage rates. This shows you over time kind of where we've been. We were at 7.8 in the first year, dropped down to 6.4, went up a little bit. We're pretty steady, and we've been steady at 7.5 for the last few years too. And that's the proposal for this upcoming year is 7.5. From the homestead property, that 7.5 is what you see in the debt retirement fund, which is on the slide. And then there's the state levy of 6 mills. So from the homestead, overall millage rate levied would be 13.5. The non-homestead, you have the 6 mills, you have the debt retirement, but there's also an operating mill of 18. So the overall non-homestead would be about 31.5 mills. And that's pretty consistent over the last 3-4 years. So. Just from a timeline perspective, we'll have a meeting on June 4th, and we'll talk about these mills, and then expect about 100% summer collection. We'll vote on that, and then the meat and potatoes of the budget, we'll discuss on the 18th, where you'll see that more granular illustration that we did before, and then, if we want to talk about line items or whatever the case is, and then put it for a vote on the 18th, and then kind of move forward from that point. So with that, questions?
Mr. Lynn, it seems like you've jumped in with both feet running.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Well done.
Thanks.
Any questions from the board? None?
I do have one question. So the enrollment interest data you provided was as of 5/9. Has that changed significantly since then?
The enrollment data, we would have done the scenario, it'd be 25 people is all we would have included in the budget assumption that you see today. The other one would have been off our current state aid report. So this is assuming 25 in enrollment.
Now, you get this, you'll get these reports about every 2 or 3 weeks through August, right in through September.
Right?
The nature of us being ahead of where we were last year is just sort of giving you a sense of the activity in the enrollment office.
Sure.
We have done, very little advertising. We kind of have limits because certain grade levels have seat count limits because
Right.
we don't have unlimited facilities. Kindergarten, 6th grade and 9th grade are unlimited, but the rest of the grades have limits. So I think we're being prudent. At the same time, we're making the word out because obviously the head count matters a lot in terms of finances and budget.
I was just wondering if the enrollment data with 318 has increased since May 9th.
Yes,
Oh, sure. Every day.
every day there's.
Every day it
activity
changes.
on there.
Yep.
Mr. President, seeing that this budget hearing has concluded, I motion to adjourn.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We will reconvene at 7:30 for the regular board meeting.
Bear with first. On the top.
You didn't write it down. You didn't write it down.
He is actually a returning.
So I received my check, thank you, but I was wondering what happened with the 1099 situation? Is there a new
I'm
one?
trying to, I think that the conversation was, they filed all their IRS stuff, whatever time window that was, which means they'd have to be, I don't know that they can do it. The airplane can do that. I don't know if they can change it.
Okay, so then, like, the previous year was 2, the next year is 2,500, so am I gonna even out this year? It's gonna be 1,500?
Right,
Is that what's gonna happen?
right.
Okay, no worries. I
No,
just
yeah,
wanted
this
to
is-
know, I just don't want to have my tax person file an amendment and it be wrong.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah,
So-
Sax and Tax should be able to answer that.
Pardon?
Sax and Tax should be able to answer
Oh,
that. Eric.
yeah. So should I send him a little note?
Sure. Or
Okay.
just catch him when he comes back in. He may know the answer.
Okay.
Because that's not necessarily a school-specific thing. It's
I-
a more broadly thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And he's got a sense of that because he does that.
Right. Should I ask him now? Or is it-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no. Oh, well, he's right there. Oh, I thought he walked out for a second. Oh, I got the screwdriver.
What is she doing?
Yeah. No, he's coming back. What? For just a month. I'm waiting. What's that? Wait, did he take that out of the box? If he can't figure it out, slap him around. Yeah, well, he almost didn't show up. Coming in 2 minutes after, 3 minutes after 7. We were still done at 7:23. They get any questions? I don't have a microphone. I don't have a microphone. It's your microphone.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
No, it's not.
Good luck to me, I guess. Okay.
I like your new ride.
Oh,
That's slick.
do you want to, this
Yeah.
is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know me because I got 5
Yeah.
kids, right? I had minivans and stuff like that for a really, really long time. So then I had this Honda, and I thought I was going to just pay it off and give it to one of the kids. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, that's worth too much money to give to the kids, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I might as well get a nice car. So I got it, like just a used car. So I got it December 14th, and on December 28th, we were traveling to the beach in North Carolina, and a dog ran out in front of the car from the median.
Oh, no.
Like, so we're going down the divided highway expressway at 70 miles per
Yeah.
hour. Dog runs out, middle of nowhere.
Oh, no.
Ran in front of my car.
Oh, no.
I was 14 days old.
Yeah.
Then I had it 14 days, right? my husband, he felt so terrible. So we're in North Carolina. Luckily, the airbags did not implode, so we could drive it home. But there was $11,000 worth of damage to my new used car. So goes into the shop when I get home, pretty much, because you can't, the seatbelt tensioners broke, so it's not safe to drive the car anymore. So it's in the shop for 40 days. So after 20 years of minivans and Explorers, I get this car. It's my saga.
You have a Ferrari now? What?
No, a Mercedes. I use Mercedes, but it is very nice. I'm very happy. I'm trying not to feel like I'm cursed. So
I bought my wife a Cadillac. She hated it. I don't know. I mean, I love driving that car. You're floating on the
it's so
road.
nice. Hi, lovely to see you.
There we go.
I love driving. I love driving. I was so sad when it was gone. I was just getting used to it. So then I get it back. Within 2 days, I'm parked in the parking lot.
All we need is one meeting with some.
It's just a scratch, but
The shine's off the apple.
I'm just so sad.
Was it brand new or brand new
No
to you?
use, 2020. But I got such a,
Only July and August.
38,000 miles. No, it's 32,000.
Give 'em a hard time.
Okay, we ready?
So,
Is that,
so sad.
You got it once all the appreciation was off of it, so.
I know, and.
yeah, this is our last meeting then.
That's not on the
Well, it's after she's done with her student comments.
And then, whatever, it's okay.
It's all better now.
I'd like to ask all who are able to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome out to this evening's regular meeting of the Lakeview Public Schools Board of Education today, May 21st, 2024, 7:30 p.m. at the boardroom at the Weed Educational Campus. I'd like to call the attention of the board of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 16, 2024.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Martin, support by Mr. Asher. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. For the record, Mr. Miners will not be here this evening for personal commitment. Moving on to item C, public communication. Madam Secretary, have any public communication this evening?
I do. I would like to share a thank you notice that we received. It says Lakeview Board of Education. Thank you for the beautiful bell for my retirement. It's a lovely gift, and I feel appreciated by Lakeview. Public schools, after 23 years of service, I will miss working with the staff at Ardmore Elementary and being a part of Lakeview Public Schools. But as I enter the next chapter of my life, I am looking forward to spending more time with my grandchildren, husband, and family, doing some travel in between. Thank you, Kathy Sista, retired secretary.
All right. Any other public communication?
No, sir.
None? Thank you. Moving on to item D, student representative report. Ms. Pinter, good evening.
Okay, so things are busy everywhere. Things are especially busy over at the Early Childhood Center. Miss Wooden's chickens hatched, and everyone loved getting to learn by watching it all happen before their eyes. Many classes are also in the process of watching the butterfly life cycle happen in their classroom, and all programs have headed to the zoo for their end-of-the-year field trips. Today, the GSRP and tuition preschool classes had their turn, and the group had over 300 children, parents, and teachers attend, and it was a great but very hot day. It's so fun to see science come alive for all the littlest families. time for children and families and teachers to come together and celebrate the ending of an incredible school year. Next up at Ardmore, they are thrilled to share that this year's Spring Fling was a huge success. With perfect weather, unlike the rain that they've had the past 2 years, the event saw a fantastic turnout. Highlights include bounce houses, slides, delicious options from various food trucks, engaging games, and a lively high throwing contest. Additionally, the third grade hosted a delightful Michigan Taste Fest, which brought many parents together to enjoy a variety of treats. The students had a blast showcasing the research of local establishments. And as the school year wraps up, the students are buzzing with excitement for the upcoming summer. At Greenwood, the last day of school is coming fast and furiously. April and May have been busy finishing up curriculum and diving into both MSEP and NWEA assessments. Greenwood's PTO spoiled the staff during Teacher Appreciation Week with breakfast, lunch, and small gifts. Music is a theme this spring, with several grade level concerts being performed in the afternoon.
Commercial break.
Didn't we go through this last time? Same thing,
I
right?
never turned it on.
He's putting your batteries in.
No, they didn't. No, I'm saying.
Thank you. Okay, so music is a theme this spring with several grade level concerts being performed in the afternoon and the annual 5th grade band and orchestra concert this Thursday evening. This week, everyone will enjoy a day of fun, hopefully in the sun, with the annual field day. And Project Science returns next week, which provides an opportunity for Jefferson Middle School students to teach science activities to Greenwood's 1st grade students. And as always, everyone is looking forward to celebrating their the kindergartners and 5th grade students. Next up at Harmon, Tuesday evening, Harmon is holding their 5th grade band and orchestra concerts, and everyone is excited to hear their performances this evening in the Harmon gym. Tomorrow is Harmon's field day, and they are hoping the rain holds off until the evening. Harmon is happy that M-STEP testing is finished and that spring NWEA testing is almost complete, with just 2 more classes and some makeups left. And the Harmon Hawk Walk is scheduled for Friday afternoon, May 31st, and everyone is looking forward to the Hawk Walk fun. At Princeton, the PTO, Princeton families, and the local businesses made Teacher Appreciation Week one that will never be forgotten. There were games, prizes, and tokens of appreciation throughout the week. It was a very nice and much appreciated surprise. In addition, Princeton has finished up state testing and has finished up NWEA testing. Their Science Olympiad team was very competitive at the county level as usual and came in 6th place overall with many medals and winning teams. Their coordinating event for Girls on the Run, was this past Sunday at Metro Beach, where the Princeton team went for their 5K. It was a beautiful day and a great way to end the season. The Princeton PTO just held their elections and is gearing up for the 24-25 school year, and Princeton is looking forward to closing out another successful school year and is looking forward to what next year has to bring. Jefferson held their Advanced Science Fair today and this evening for student, staff, and parents to attend. They are also ready to host all of the incoming 5th graders next week as they meet with JMS counselors and get a tour of the building. M-STEP at JMS has wrapped up and NWEA testing is also finishing up. Yesterday, the JMS choir held their final concert at the high school to rave reviews. And the JMS PTO families and administration had a week of teacher appreciation for JMS staff. Each day had a special token of gratitude for all of the hard work and effort the staff provide each day for the Jefferson students. Lastly, at Jefferson, everyone is looking forward to celebrating students as well as wishing the 8th graders amazing luck as they head to the high school. And at Lakeview, seniors are now finished with school. Exam-exempt seniors' last day was on May 10th, and all the other seniors were done on May 17th. Congrats to all the seniors. There are a few major events left for the class of 2024, the first being Senior Awards Night tomorrow night, May 22nd at 6:30 in Schaublin Auditorium. Cap and Gown Pickup on May 28th at 3 p.m. in room 111. Graduation practice on May 30th at 9 a.m. sharp at Macomb Community College. And graduation on May 31st at 6:30 p.m. at Macomb Community College. Seniors, you are almost to the finish line. Wellness Week was a tremendous success. The week of May 6th gave students the opportunity to participate in various activities that focused on mental health. A huge thanks to Mrs. Purdy and Mrs. McKay for heading this endeavor. The Lakeview data team has been working hard all year to improve systems and collect data on those systems of what is currently working and what needs improvement. One of the major projects is Lakeview Welcome Week. For the 24-25 school year, LHS will be incorporating various activities for new students, as well as returning students, to ensure goals for climate and culture are addressed. Thank you to the data team for the work you have done this year. The last round of NWEA testing will take place this week. Final exams for 9th through 11th grade will take place June 6th and 7th. Students will be released at 11 o'clock on both days. And lastly, the Lakeview administration would like to extend a heartfelt congratulations and thank you to both Mrs. Ninehouse and Mr. Cedar on their respective retirements. You have both made Lakeview Public Schools a better place, and your presence will be missed. Thank you, and that's it.
All right. Well, the work is almost done, because tonight we have to approve the tentative graduation list, and I did notice that your name is on it, so that's a good thing.
Make it.
So once again, thank you for your contribution this year. As you've illustrated all year long, there is a lot going on in all the buildings, so thank you for being so attentive to detail and sharing all of that with us. So it's greatly appreciated, and thank you for contributing with us. Any other comments from the board for Ms. Pinter this evening?
Good luck.
Yes. And no other comments from the board? Before you leave, we have a token of our gratitude and a thank you for participating with us and spending some time with us at the beginning of each board meeting. We have a little... Thank you very much. All the best to you. Congratulations. Well done. So you may want to stick around and make sure that the graduation list gets approved. Again, thank you. All right, on to Board of Education and administrative comments. As Ms. Pinter pointed out, there's a lot going on, and as we wrap up this year, it's been a very good year. It keeps getting better as we get further and further away from that COVID mess we dealt with in years past. So there is progress, and thank you to all the staff from top to bottom, from administration on down to the teachers and all the support staff and all the students for everything well done this year to keep this thing moving forward. Without you, we would not be where we are these days with our students walking across stages, getting their diplomas, and making better things for themselves and better lives for themselves. So again, thank you all, and to my fellow board members, thank you for another great year at the table here with us and doing things that is in the best interest of our students and kids here in the district. So, hats off to everybody. There was something else I was going to say, but if anybody else has any comments.
I'll just piggyback on the at Ardmore, they had that spring fling, that was great. They did a great job. The volunteers were great. It was, as you said, a great turnout, and there was the whole outside, like, the playground was just filled with parents. So it was a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
Even I had a good time. So.
There you go. All right. And then, the athletic field, and all the construction going on in the district. Things are looking good at the elementary buildings. Things are looking like they're wrapping up there, so that's a good thing. We now have the athletic field, which is very visible to everybody going down 11 Mile Road. So, we're hopeful that we're going to have it ready for kickoff for the first home game in 2024 in September.
Yeah, Barton Mallow took a little bit of my wrath on something else earlier last week, and they made the comment that if we're not ready by the deadline, it will be probably 10 times worse, so we don't want to do that. But we did, now that you mentioned it, we did start to roll back a section of the carpet today to look at the underlayment, just to see the condition of it, which seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, in pretty good shape. So doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of corrective work that needs to be done on the E-layers, what it's called, which is a positive thing, because had that come up in chunks, we would be sitting at a June meeting looking at a significant change order to fix some stuff. But first look at it was positive, so it hopefully we catch a break and can meet stuff on schedule this time. What you may not know is the goalposts are brand new. They've already taken the old ones down, cut them up, and put the new ones up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean, they do that work with the poles up?
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And they had to do it because they need to make sure that the current housing that was in there would fit, so they put them in, and they'll just work around it and turf up to it, so. But yeah, it's a different looking facility when you drive by, now that there's no press box, there's no bleachers, there's,
Seeing a lot of fencing around the track
yeah.
going.
The one thing that we are going to do is we've had some residents, which is surprising, not adhere to the no construction, stay out, lock everything up type of things, and climb the fences and.
Really?
Yeah, because we've moved some of the field equipment out of the way, and the next morning it's out there, so Barton Mallow is putting on Barton Mallow locks, so they're not even district padlocks. Carl and I will have a key in case we need to get out there for any reason, but we're going to secure it, and nobody needs to be out there but they're climbing fences. We have seen them. One of the Barton Mallow guys said, yeah, I saw a guy climb the fence, a 40-year-old man climb the fence to run the track the other night.
So we can put signage up around the
Yes.
field as well to
Yes.
say, no trespassing
Yep.
at this point during construction or
Yep.
whatever?
Yep, so the field is officially closed to the public, so anybody who's watching us stream, please adhere to that. Thank you very much, because the last thing we want is people to get out there and get hurt.
Yep, safety's number one.
Is it open for school?
It is not, it is closed. The last track came out there yesterday and moved all of their equipment, put everything away, moved the hurdles off, so because we weren't doing any really work on the field itself, but Thursday was kind of the last day that anybody was going to be able to use it, so we are officially closed until August 11th at midnight.
August 11th, we have that penned in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the bogey.
Are we gonna have a grand opening on that day? Or shortly there?
I would hope we have something.
Now,
That'll be a game
Possibly
night.
a tar and feathering?
I have faith in Barton Mallow.
All right, we look forward to it. Definitely. That was August 11, 2024, correct?
Correct, Mr. Dombrowski.
12:01.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I got it on the secretary.
All right, any other comments from the board?
Yes, I'd like to mention that I'm looking forward to the next board meeting, I believe it's June 4th, for all the student recognition. Going to be a lot of kids getting some accolades, so I'm excited to be there for that.
And that will be at the auditorium.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any other comments? Okay,
Early start that night, 7 o'clock. Make sure that you also understand we aren't just working on the stadium, much to the public's, knowledge. We have a whole wing going on into the courtyard behind that gym area, and that is well underway as well. Ending Greenwood, ending Harmon here this summer, have those facilities fully open next August. And the state budget is underway also. We now have the House, Senate, and Governor's proposals publicly being debated. As we said in the budget hearing earlier, there's tax collections that are improved compared to last year, but not as much as they have been the last 2 years. So there'll still be some improvement to revenue streams, but not as dramatically large as they have been the last 2 years. And I want to share one thing about an example of something I saw earlier last week. Couple of teachers working with a student in a hallway, student in crisis, crying, upset, obviously upset. I was a ways away from the scene, but these two folks just, step right into action, console the child, get them, back to a better mindset, and then decide between them, somebody's going to cover the class to go make sure the other person gets the student to the office for some follow-up. And I happen to be able to walk up on the scene at that point and, step in for a minute and just cover a class for 2 minutes. But that example is an everyday, right now, right here, we take care of business kind of behavior of our staff. And as Dan said, the routine of good things we hear about, you don't usually hear about stories like that. But that's an everyday occurrence when you have 7 facilities and 4,500 kids working with, 400 staff members. And I think it's important to highlight something that's a very simple thing. Because, when you're driving down the freeway and somebody has a flat tire, you're not necessarily going to stop. That's not how our staff operate in the hallway, because this isn't a child they had in class. They had asked their name. So it's clearly somebody they didn't know, but it didn't matter. Because they're in our building, they're a kid in our hall, we're going to do whatever we got to do to get them back to a position of being able to learn and feel safe and happy about being at school. Well, maybe not being happy at school every day, but anyway, I think those kinds of examples are worth illustrating so that the public realizes how committed our staff are with what they do every day. So I wanted to highlight that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any other comments from administrators? No? Other than August 11?
11:59 PM.
Awesome. Anything else from the board? Nope. All right, moving on. Item F, approval of tentative graduation list for the class of 2024.
Commencement for our Lakeview Public Schools graduates will be held for Friday, the May 31st for Lakeview High School and at the Macomb Expo Center, and for the Lakeview virtual commencement at our auditorium on June 5th. This time, Board of Education has action is requested to approve the list of graduating seniors for those 2 building programs. These lists could still change.
Fortunately.
Mr. President, I recommend that the Board of Education approve the tentative graduating class of 2024 for Lakeview High School and Lakeview Virtual School as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Martin, support by Mr. Barrett. Discussion on the motion.
I do have one question. What certificate of completion, is that something new or? What does that fall into? Is that virtual or?
It isn't new. Some of our students who receive special education services are on a program for a certificate of completion as opposed to a commencement graduation diploma.
So they'll be at the high school graduation or at the high school?
If they're in the high school program, physically attending, they would be at that graduation. If they are a virtual student, they would be at the virtual graduation.
Okay, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to general, item A, resolution for proposed Macomb Intermediate School District 2024-2025 General Fund Operating Budget.
In March 2024, the proposed Macomb Intermediate School District operating budget was distributed to all local districts for review and consideration. On April 18th, the proposed budget was reviewed, sort of like our budget hearing here earlier, with explanations to representatives from most of Macomb's constituent school districts. It was unanimously approved by the local school reps that were in attendance at the MISD budget meeting and overview. Mr. Bayer attended on behalf of Lakeview. under the revised school code, the Macomb Intermediate School District must have its general fund operating budget considered and approved by each individual Board of Education within Macomb County by June 1, 2024. This evening, it's recommended that the Lakeview Board approve the resolution for the proposed Macomb Intermediate School District 24-25 general fund operating budget. Copy of the budget was previously distributed to everybody.
Mr. President, I move that the Lakeview Board of Education approve, as presented, the resolution for the proposed Macomb Intermediate School District 2024-2025 general fund operating budget.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Personnel, item 8, changes in personnel.
Tonight, administration is bringing forward the following changes in personnel since the last presentation to the Board of Education on April 16th. New hires: Alicia Lectern, District Special Education Social Worker; Tanner Belanger, Jefferson Middle School Special Education Teacher; Deanna Damasco, Harmon Elementary School Special Education Teacher; Sarah Morshell, Ardmore Elementary School Paraprofessional; Mariana Barth, Lakeview Administrative Office's Front Desk Office Assistant Co-op. Returning from childcare leave for the 24-25 school year, Ashley Bodinas, teacher, and Whitney White, teacher. Resignations: Sarah Matarella, Jefferson Middle School Special Education Teacher; Mary Smith, Jefferson Middle School Paraprofessional; Yat Matthew Long Lee, Technology Co-op. Retirements with regrets: Cheryl Nienhaus, Greenwood Elementary School Principal; Greg Cedar, Harmon Elementary School Principal; Colleen Cruz, Lakeview High School Head Cook; Elementary Summer Learning Program new Principal, Marissa Massey; Secondary Summer School Teachers as listed; Elementary School Summer Learning Program Teachers as listed; Elementary School Summer Learning Program Special Education Paraprofessional, Marcy Kuhn; Jefferson Middle School 8th grade Washington trip for 24-25, Jessica Wise, trip coordinator. Schedule B returning coach and sponsors for the current year is Alexandria Ruthenberg, Jefferson Middle School swimming assistant coach, and Kevin Clark should have also been in the returning category for Little Huskies boys basketball director for this current year. Schedule B new coach and sponsor for next school year is Teresa Kluge, Lakeview High School cheerleading varsity coach.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the changes in personnel as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Taylor. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Have we any new hires here this
We
evening? I think we have at
do.
least one.
Yes, we have Alicia who is here. Alicia, if you wouldn't mind standing, and I know the rest of your guests are out there, so I'll talk really loud. Alicia is joining us for this next school year. She has her Master's of Social Work from Wayne State University and a Bachelor of Science with her concentration in Psychology and Early Childhood Development from Michigan State University. She has had a variety of experiences both in public and private health settings that give her a sampling of lots of different areas and skills that she will be able to bring to Lakeview and utilize. She is a community member and lives very, very close to Lakeview, and I think I might even see a future Husky back there. So we're happy to have her joining us and can't wait for her to get started. So welcome aboard, and would you like to introduce your guest?
Oh, that's my husband Andrew and my youngest daughter Olivia.
Very nice. Well, welcome. Thank you. We also have Tanner. Tanner's here, and so Tanner, if you wouldn't mind standing up. Tanner is a graduate of Alma College with his Bachelor of Arts. His major is in elementary education and special education. luring him over from another district where he has been doing an elementary resource room experience, but is looking to get closer to home and to come join us and share his skills. He, before he had that position, he did some subbing, which any of us who have subbed know that that is the real preparation for a class. It isn't all of those other ones, but that hands-on learning. And then the other thing that really, I think, Tanner, allowed you to really rise above, even though you have newer experiences and you are joining our profession at the front end, not the end like me, but he has his placements that he did as part of his teaching preparation program were everything from pre-K through high school. So we know that he's going to be joining us having a vision of what that looks like at every single level for the students that he's going to be servicing. And we're thrilled to have you. So welcome, Tanner. And that's all we have here.
All right, welcome to the new staff to the Lakeview family, I should say, so welcome aboard. All right, moving on to curriculum, item A, Lakeview High School Junior Varsity Volleyball Camp.
I am pitching for Laura Woods today. Her son has his last senior band concert. So we said, you go do that and we can take care of this. So our first item is the Junior Varsity Volleyball Camp. Lakeview High School Junior Volleyball players would like to attend the 2024 Ferris State University JV Team Volleyball Camp. Students will participate in an engaging volleyball training program run by Ferris State volleyball players and coaches while competing against some of the best student athletes in our state. The camp is designed to improve player skills related to volleyball as well as enhance mental and physical abilities for the sport. The JV team training camp runs from July 15th through July 17th, 2024. Parents will transport students to Big Rapids for 2 days of volleyball competitions, training, and fun. The cost per student is $289.25 and includes lodging, all meals, individual instruction, one-on-one coaching, and a championship volleyball experience for each participant. Lakeview High School varsity volleyball coach Tom Pfeiffer, along with 2 other coaches, will accompany approximately 20 to 30 students.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve Lakeview High School junior varsity volleyball players to attend the 2024 Ferris State University JV Team Volleyball Camp on July 15th through the 17th of 2024.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Taylor. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item B, Lakeview High School Varsity Volleyball Camp.
Lakeview High School varsity volleyball players would also like to attend a camp at Ferris State University this summer. The camp is designed to develop and improve basic and advanced volleyball player skills. Competitive play with some of the other best volleyball teams in Michigan is part of the daily training routine. In addition, Ferris State volleyball players and coaches will focus on enhancing both the mental and physical skills needed to be a successful volleyball player. The varsity training camp runs from July 21st through July 23rd and ends with an additional optional one-day team challenge that includes scrimmages and bonus games on July 23rd and 24th. Parents will transport the students to the camp in Big Rapids, and the cost per student for the 2-day camp is $289.25. It includes lodging, all meals, individual instruction, one-on-one coaching, and a championship volleyball experience for each participant. The additional $115.75 cost per player for the optional team challenge will be paid in full with volleyball fundraising monies for any student able to participate. Lakeview High School varsity volleyball coach Tom Pfeiffer, along with 2 other coaches, will accompany approximately 20 to 30 students.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve Lakeview High School varsity volleyball players to attend the 24 Ferris State University Varsity Volleyball Camp on July 21st through the 23rd, 2024, with the option for players to stay an additional day for the team challenge.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item C, Lakeview High School Visual Narratives Course Proposal.
Lakeview High School is requesting a new course offering for 9th through 12th grade students. Visual narratives would be offered beginning in the 25-26 school year. This course will blend visual images and written words to create one comprehensive text with a complex meaning. Students will study graphic novels in a variety of genres to develop an appreciation and understanding of artistic styles, writing techniques, and common symbolism utilized by American and international authors. The district recognizes that students respond positively to and are engaged by visual stimuli. By studying graphic novels, students will gain critical thinking skills that are necessary to evaluate digital media and discuss topics previously regarded as entertainment. The textbook, Understanding Comics, will be offered with this course along with graphic novels The Amazing Spider-Man, A Distant Neighborhood, Unretouchable, and The Complete Moss. All of these books are being purchased as Bound to Stay Bound editions, which are designed to have extra long life. The estimated total cost for this new course is $5,485.68. This proposal is being brought forward this evening after receiving the support of Lakeview High School Building School Improvement Committee, the District School Improvement Committee, and the Board of Education Curriculum Subcommittee.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the visual narratives course proposal for the Lakeview High School to begin in the fall of 2025.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Oh, wait.
We have one.
I just really have short arms. I'm like, I just want to say that the presentation for this class was phenomenal. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to engage some kids that aren't normally readers per se. And I think it's going to be a really, really great addition to our program here.
Good stuff.
And I was involved as well. The educational staff was like just great, very enthusiastic, great materials. Really good work here.
So is that why that meeting ran late?
No.
Oh, and again, just another example of the hard work that our staff are putting in to make things better and provide better opportunities for these kids, so.
And the individual who put the presentation together really did a wonderful, wonderful job. Spent time reading many different pieces of material to come to a collective that is really encompasses a large view. So it was really, really well done.
Cool. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item E, Jefferson Middle School Amplified Desmos Math 6A1.
Jefferson Middle School is requesting a new textbook that will help provide an enhanced curriculum for their math program in grades 6 through 8. This curriculum proposal would implement Amplified Desmos Math 6A1, starting in the upcoming 24-25 school year. Desmos Math would move middle school students from the current teacher-centered lesson structure to a student-centered, inquiry-based curriculum. Studies show that this type of enhancement leads to greater student engagement and achievement. Students will have the ability to grasp complex mathematical concepts in schools as well as at home due to digital manipulatives and the program's overall design. Desmos Math will take full advantage of the one-to-one technology provided by the district and also offers parent tutorials throughout the curriculum that assist in supporting students with homework. The estimated total cost for Amplified Desmos Math 6A1 is $115,210 and includes 8 years of online student digital licensing for all grades at Jefferson Middle School. On-site training for PD for JMS staff is also included. This curriculum proposal is being brought forward this evening after receiving the support of both Jefferson's Building School Improvement Committee and the District School Improvement Committee and the Board of Education Curriculum Subcommittee.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the updated math curriculum proposal with amplified SNOS Math 6A1 for Jefferson Middle School to begin in the fall of 2024.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Mr. Baird. Discussion on the motion. I do have one question regarding the licensing. Is this a site license or individual seat licenses, or how does that work? Could we possibly see additional costs because of additional seats required?
We could. It is based on number of students that are submitted, is my understanding, but I'll double check that and we can put that in the Friday update.
Okay, cool, thank you. Any other comments?
Just again, that the teachers that put this together, the presentation for this did a phenomenal job. There was a large thought process. There was a pilot program that was done. And this program is just pretty amazing because it takes what kids are doing every day on their devices and it, adds math to it. So they can they can play games, they can see things visually, they can create statistics. It's really quite an amazing program, and it's really going to put us at the top of our game.
Cool.
In addition, the program offered like real-time feedback and would look at what the kids are doing and improvise and give them additional work based on what was going on now, not waiting for teachers have to correct or look at what was happening. So just real intuitive and very impressive.
Cool. Any other comments?
Yeah, that adaptiveness, real-time adaptiveness, right? Yeah.
Good. More good stuff. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Item E, Jefferson Middle School Intro Literature ELA Curriculum Proposal.
Jefferson Middle School is proposing a new ELA textbook called Into Literature that includes a strong digital platform for grades 6 through 8. The plan is to implement the updated offering with accompanying technology to enhance the ELA curriculum in the 24-25 school year. Into Literature will enhance students' ability to absorb reading, writing, grammar, and language arts content and learning on a daily basis. The new platform is filled with engaging text that will support foundational reading skills and includes writable and active writing skill builder. The novels included in this new curriculum proposal are Ghost, Holes, I Am Malala, Because of Mr. Terupt, Chains, Refugee, Cinder, Hidden Figures, Hunger Games, and The Boy with the Striped Pajamas. These selections, as part of this new curriculum, will build confidence, standards mastery, and college and career readiness for every learner in the classroom. The estimated total cost for Into Literature, which includes the digital literacy program Writable for grades 6 through 8, and digital student licenses and consumables for 5 years, is $243,794.32. This curriculum proposal has gone through our approval process and is being brought forward this evening after receiving the support of Jefferson Middle School BSIC Committee, the District School Improvement Committee, and the Board of Education Curriculum Subcommittee.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the updated ELA curriculum proposal with Into Literature for the Jefferson Middle School to begin in the fall of 2024.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion.
Again, I want to say these teachers did such a fantastic job putting these things together, giving us examples of what the program was going to consist of. This is another amazing program, very much like the math, but even, I think, maybe a little more intense because it utilizes AI. So instead of like a peer review article, so if you gave it to your friend in your class and they're gonna write down their notes, basically you have a computer that is kind of your peer review, and they're able to, give you feedback right away. It's amazing what is going on in technology, obviously. It allows anonymity for kids that maybe are shy and don't want to share, or other kids that may want to write things on their own. I mean, it's just an amazing program. And the aids for the parents at home with both of these things it's a godsend, because I know that, when we went through COVID, the biggest complaint that we had was parents were like, I don't know how to teach my kid this. I don't know how to do this. And these programs really take that into consideration.
The other thing that I would like to point out is, if you notice, 5D has to do with new curriculum and math, and 5E has to do with new curriculum and ELA. It's not common that we get two sets of curriculum to be approved in 1 year. Normally, things are more spread out, but because of COVID, we're a little bit behind in some of the new curriculum implementation and evaluation.
All right.
And as I said at the subcommittee meeting, that's actually a good thing because of how things changed so quickly over the last 2 years. Actually being delayed actually is improving the opportunity and options for us, based on AI becoming such a prolific, tool availability, and the software companies combining with these literature and math companies to put packages together that are very different. More cutting edge, I guess.
Cool. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Item F, Fastbridge Assessments Proposal.
The district student services and curriculum departments are proposing the adoption of the Fastbridge system as a progress monitoring tool for K-5 special education and general education intervention students. They are also proposing that the Fastbridge Young 5 through 2nd grade screener be used in place of the current NWEA screener for these early grades. Fastbridge provides valid and reliable assessments to help educators identify the student's academic and social-emotional behavior, SEB, needs faster, align the right interventions at the right time, and measure whether interventions are helping the student catch up, all in one platform. The Fastbridge system guides the general process of identifying students in need of additional support through universal screening and documenting the effects of those supports over time through progress monitoring. The Fastbridge screener provides much more usable data for math that is detailed to help teachers identify foundation gaps and plan instructional responses. It also provides the components of early reading that are such a crucial foundation as students begin to read, and it allows customization of assessments based on the student's developmental progression of learning. The NWEA screener will continue to be used for grades 3 through 11. The estimated total cost for Fastbridge is $21,604.54 and includes 3,081 one-year subscriptions, plus a professional training and learning package for staff. This curriculum proposal is being brought forward this evening after receiving the support of the District School Improvement Committee and the Board of Education Curriculum Subcommittee.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the Fastbridge Assessments Proposal for K-5 special education and general education intervention students to begin in fall of 2024.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, supported by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion.
Again, I just want to commend, I know Ms. Woods is not here tonight. She and Ms. Myers put this together. Great presentation. It just kind of went through and explained how much this is going to help the younger people. The fast response that they are going to be given as educators regarding the child's basically their strengths and their weaknesses, and then it gives them the educator, the program gives them basically little skill buildings for that particular student. It's very, very individualized. I think it will help them tremendously.
Awesome. Mr. Bear?
Yes, the 3,081 one-year subscriptions, will that be an ongoing cost? And do you have an approximate price on that?
So that is going to be, that's what the $21,604 is included for those licensing.
Right.
So really what we're ending up doing is we're shifting cost, because right now we're already paying an annual licensing for a number of students from K through 11. So we'll be reducing the NWA number of licensing, shifting that cost for K2 to be purchasing licensing for this product.
Do you have a ballpark what the subscription part of that is from the total?
I don't know what that is off the top of my
Okay.
head. It would depend on what the renewals, we haven't received the renewals for NWA yet with those additional, those usually hit in the summer here. But that is something that we can provide to the board when we have that information.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to bond implementation, item A, Public Address Systems Project Recommendation.
Tonight, administration is bringing forward a recommendation for a public address systems project for the district that will be funded from the school safety grant funds. The scope of the work includes audio systems for the main gymnasium, auxiliary gymnasium, cafeteria, pool, and football field at Lakeview High School. This project will be scheduled to begin immediately after approval. The district received quotes from 4 vendors, with Wright and Hunter and Lakeview Technology Department carefully reviewing the quotes, and we found all 4 vendors to be compliant. After a detailed review of the bid responses and post-bid clarifications, it was found that the quote from Advanced Lighting and Sound to include everything required for a complete and operational system as outlined in the scope of the project. In addition, Advanced Lighting and Sound is a trusted vendor and has a solid work history on past projects with the district. Advanced Lighting and Sound submitted 2 voluntary alternate that offer cost savings to the district without removing any intended functionality of the design systems. The total deduction from the base bid would be $7,200. Therefore, administration is recommending award of the public address systems projects base bid and 2 voluntary alternates to Advanced Lighting and Sound in the amount of $96,064.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the recommendation to award the public address systems projects base bid and 2 voluntary alternates to Advanced Lighting and Sound in the amount of $96,064.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Barrett, support by Mr. Asha. Questions? I do have one question. Audio for the main gym, auxiliary gym, cafeteria, pool, that seems pretty standard. But when we get to the football field, can somebody paint a picture for us on what that will look like? Is it going to be similar now? We have 2 loudspeakers on one side, one pole on one side of the field, or is this going to be something different?
It's going to be spreading that out and having a more effective sound system. Right now, you know, as you know, when you're in the field, and Sean and I can talk about certain areas you can hear really well, and other areas you can't hear anything. It sounds like Charlie Brown, teacher up there. So the sound system will be an upgraded, better system that has a more consistent and better quality sound throughout.
Right now, we've got 2 speakers that are on each of the light poles. So if you're sitting in the bleachers, it deafens you. But if you're by the concession stand or you're somewhere else, it's hard to hear. And there is a horn that was on the opposite side of the press box that was rarely worked. So we didn't get that mix of, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to have a mix of being pushed to the north and pushed to the south to spread it out a little bit more. So it'll be a better sound quality.
Okay.
And then I'll probably get more complaints from the public about how loud we are. But that's okay.
They're by a football field. You got to expense it.
I had Cliff Stewart called me, texted me one night and said, I can hear you guys from my house, and he lives like several blocks away, which is okay.
Beautiful.
Especially when we're winning.
Now, is this going to be a wired or a wireless type configuration?
We'll have wired.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have wireless for internet and access out there, but the PA system is a wired system
Okay.
for more stability.
And it's not spoken to, but this is another one of those, if we still have school safety funds to spend, this will be covered under that as well. We didn't call it out in this particular write-up, but the next one we did, because we know we have at least that much more, just offsetting to whatever the bond costs. It doesn't have to be a bond cost, because this is a school safety factor. You have to be able to alert the large crowd that might be in any of those spaces about problems. So we can certainly justify it as a school safety expense under those grants. And it's a sequence. We're getting rid of 21, 22, we're getting rid of 22, 23, then we're getting rid of 23, 24, sort of a year after the fact in each case. And now we're hearing we're going to have more school safety in 24, 25. So, if those funds are available, we'll use those because it's a one-time expense whenever we can.
All right, you had mentioned internet out in the football field. Is that going to be something that's going to be accessible at all times, or is that just something to be
turn
for
it.
football games?
Yeah, we would control times of when it's available.
Okay.
Are they going to be under the same time constraint to make sure that it's done for the football field?
So ours is the domino effect. So we're going to be dependent on when they have that press box up and those field done, because we come in after with the tech. No, because we need to have that up. So, you give pressure to poor Barton Mallow, well, us in the tech department and Scott Bruni, we're also giving them the stress and the pressure at our construction meetings, because we can't get our work scheduled even till they get closer to we have time piece. So we're all kind of playing beat the clock, so.
Okay.
And it's just all coordination. I mean, we sit in construction meetings every couple of weeks, and we're talking about coordination. That's what it's going to come down to, is when the bleachers are up and the press box is in, they'll have everything stubbed and ready to pull wire. It's just getting that coordination, so
It's not a football game without sub.
it is not.
Mr. Muskelli, August 12th?
August 11th.
11:59
Barton
PM.
Mallow, August 11th. I was thinking giving them an extra day. All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item B, Security Systems Project Recommendation.
Tonight, administration is bringing forward a recommendation to award the purchase of additional security cameras and entry card readers district-wide and updates to the video intercom systems at Jefferson Middle School, Lakeview High School, and the Wheat Campus Building. This project is scheduled to begin immediately upon award and will be paid for out of Series 2 of the 2019 bond and/or school safety grant funds. Wright and Hunter has been hired to serve as our technology consultants on the project. They've facilitated the bid process for the project and have made a recommendation for award through collaboration with administration. 4 vendors submitted bids for the project. Wright and Hunter submitted post-bid interview questions to the vendors to confirm compliance with all of the terms and conditions of the RFP and conducted reference checks. Tonight, administration is recommending award of the base bid contract for the security systems project to Night Watch based on Wright and Hunter's recommendation letter, which is attached, compliancy of bid specifications. Night Watch is the incumbent security contractor on the district's previous security projects, and they have a history of successful experience with Lakeview and other school districts and businesses in this line of work. It is the recommendation of administration to award the bid for the security systems project to Night Watch in the amount of $202,816.65.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education award the bid for the security system project to Night Watch in the amount of $202,816.65.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. I do have one question, and that has to do with, once this is done, will this also be within the same link that would be accessible by the police department in event there's any event going on that they need to get access to the building, such as an emergency?
All of these cameras would be added to our current system, which is the one we've worked with on
Okay.
access.
Cool. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item C, proposed request number 3, PR number 3, Lakeview High School Pool and Athletic Area Improvements.
Tonight, administration is recommending change orders and contract increases to vendors in bid packages number 9 and number 11 for improvements to the Lakeview High School pool, gym, and indoor athletic areas, which is to be funded from the 2022 bond fund. Originally, the majority of this project was bid in spring of 2020. However, due to COVID-19 shutdown in March of 2020, labor and supply chain stoppages interrupted the district's ability to complete the project at that time. With the previously approved pool and athletic area work for spring 2025, which is bid pack 11, administration along with Barton Mallow Builders and Partners in Architecture began to investigate pricing on what would be a more cost-effective solution to complete this work, identified as PR3 within the bid pack 11 process conducted in March 2024. It was determined that Barton Mallow would seek pricing from current contractors working within the district on other bond projects in order to determine if better pricing than bid package 11 could be obtained through change orders, reducing the overall cost of the project. Barton Mallow Builders, with the assistance of Partners in Architecture, evaluated the bid pack 11 alternate proposals for PR3 and determined that a combination of contractors in bid pack 9 using change orders and bid pack 11 bid alternates provided the most cost-effective pricing to complete the scope of work as indicated below. Therefore, it is recommended that the board approve contractors for PR3, some as change orders to contractors in bid pack 9, and others as alternates for contractors from bid pack 11 in the amount of $528,033.53. And representatives from Barton Mallow and Partners in Architecture are also here tonight to answer any questions the board may have.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve contractors for PR3 in the amount of $528,033.53 as presented.
Support?
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Comments from the board? Question I have, are any of these vendors part of our list of vendors that were problematic back in the Ardmore/Princeton days when they were conducting all that work?
No, we did not solicit any of those contractors that far back.
Okay.
So it's bid pack 9, which is the high school, which we've had very good contractors on that particular bid pack. And then bid pack 11, which are actually a lot of the same contractors as bid pack 9 that we awarded. So
Okay.
none of the bid packs have the contractors.
Okay. Any other comments?
This is going to start, if it gets approved, it's going to start this summer?
2025.
2025,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be March of '25, and we wanted to try and, we didn't want to have contractors tripping over each other, if we have an electrician doing one thing and then another electrician working on so we were trying to say, all right, if we can get all these folks who are currently here not stepping on each other, that was kind of the purpose of it, too.
Do you have an idea, for the weight room, where it's going to get moved to, if it's for a temporary spot or anything?
The weight room's being done this summer.
Yes, for this summer? Okay.
So this is all pool area, this is some pool corridor area, so is this the windows? This is some door areas that are going to be done kind of in the pool itself. And then bid pack 11 was the pool equipment part of it, so it's kind of two separate things going on at the same time.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just see the big difference. So this Omega flooring compared to city carpet, is there gonna be, obviously, if Omega flooring, that sounds like that's like a flooring that's gonna last for a long time. And then city carpet, there's a big expense difference.
Yeah, so there are actually two different companies. That Omega Flooring is just the name of the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we solicited both. Omega got the contract for bid pack 11 because we're doing the hard tile in the pool area around where the diving board is, we're replacing all that. Unfortunately, the city didn't have that, but they were a better price for PR3 than they were for Bid Pack 11. They don't do hard tile, Omega does. So we kind of strategically did it where we gave Omega the pool area and City Carpet the flooring portion, which they do, laminate and VCP and stuff like that, carpet. So.
And then with respect to the electrical, that's obviously $400,000. Is that some of that going to the other electrical that we just did? Is that where it came in, or no? Okay.
No, not necessarily. So, the Bid Pack 11 contractor put a budgetary figure, and unfortunately, he didn't get lighting package pricing quick enough, whereas Shoreview Electric, who is very representative to us in the district, they were very comfortable with the scope, got the pricing, and that's kind of how that whole thing shook out. So that's really where that cost difference came from.
All right, thank you.
No unforeseen supply chain issues?
No, not as of right now, no, absolutely not.
Good.
I just wanted to mention that I really appreciate you using this change order strategy so we could realize such significant savings in this project.
Yeah, normally it goes the other way. It costs us money, so yeah,
Well, lately, we got lucky with the bond a few years ago. Any other comments?
Well, and it's important, this, to arrive at this process was way on the front side, because setting up the PR3 as alternates at the bid time, knowing there may be ways that this isn't going to work out like what we would prefer, because some of the concrete work is very labor intensive, wheelbarrowing into the hallway, going down stairway into that mechanical room. And so we had a sense there'd be some contractors that would be a little leery and throw big numbers at things that were very labor intensive, not really understanding it fully, even as much time as they have to look at it. So I think that was, a testament to the team, and having an experienced leadership group poking at them, saying, how can we do this differently? How can we plan for this differently? Similar to Sean talking about the carpet on the field. We're all standing out there, and the guy that walks up, that's the land, he's ready to, oh yeah, you're gonna have to replace that whole E-layer. Well, let's peel it back. We're not buying that. We're gonna peel it back and look at it. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't look so bad. I mean, it makes a difference having some experience around it, and the whole team is very experienced, so it's beneficial. And sometimes we win on the we win on the change order game.
Yeah, and the general public appreciates your due diligence in these matters. Absolutely. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to last item, business. Item A, transportation bid, July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2027.
Tonight, administration brings forward a recommendation to award district transportation services to Divergent Transportation effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2027. In April, administration posted a request for proposal to solicit bid submittals for special education busing, general education shuttle services during the school day, extracurricular transportation, and field trips. On May 3rd, 2 companies submitted a sealed bid. Administration reviewed the bid submittals for pricing and compliance with the required specifications. A post-bid interview was completed with the president of Divergent Transportation to confirm details of their bid submittal. During the post-bid interview, Divergent was confident they could continue to meet the level of service that Lakeview Public Schools expects from its contracted service providers. The district has used Divergent as a transportation service provider for the 23-24 school year, and those experiences have been positive. In addition to school buses, Divergent possesses the ability to provide in-house sedan or minivan taxi service, both of which the district uses on a periodic basis. Background checks were also conducted with several references provided by Divergent, all of which came back positive. Based on the pricing submitted, the post-bid interview process, and positive background checks, administration is confident that Divergent will be able to continue to meet the high level of expectations the district has for all of its privatized service providers. Approximate annual total for all transportation services is about $700,000.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the district transportation services contract to Divergent Transportation beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2027.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Maybe they don't do it anymore. Do the teams still use the charter buses when they go long distance? It depends on.
Sorry. It depends on the pricing that they get. We've had teams that have asked that, and what I've done in the past is tell the team, I'll pay for the cost of the yellow school bus driving you to wherever, right? Because I'm going to provide that cost. If you want to pay the difference, that would come out of your fundraising account. So we're going to transport them anyways, so I'll pick up the first part. If you want to upgrade, that's on you as the coach. But what's happened is the cost of charter buses has skyrocketed so much. We used to be able to take a single charter bus up to Port Huron Northern for a football game, and it was cheaper than taking 2 or 3 school buses. And now that cost is like, no, we're taking 3 school buses because of just the cost of doing business has gone up. So some do, and they ask for it. We just, it doesn't, like Trinity Transportation, who we've used in the past, they shut down their motor coach division because it was not profitable for them, because less and less people were using that motor coach division. Among other things Trinity was having issues with, but that was something that they shut down.
Too many senior trips to the casinos.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The other thing I want to reference that I didn't put in, it wasn't in the write-up, was I did background checks with their references, but I also did internal background checks. Devin DePero, I talked to her, and Chris Templeton, who is her assistant, because special ed transportation is a huge part of what we do. We transport kiddos to Wheat. I need to find out, what's the service been like this year? Because if we're having, I mean, Devin's right down the hall, we would hear those things like once a week with Trinity, if not multiple times a week. And how many issues have we had with Divergent this year?
Very, very minimal.
Yeah.
It's been a really, really great experience.
So, and then it's checking with coaches, it's checking with anybody else who uses this internally as well to say, what issues are you having? And that's I guess the positive and negative about being our service provider is we're going to know if it's bad. And that's why we were still under contract with Trinity through this school year, and we chose to not use them and just kind of let the contract expire because we could not trust that they would transport our kids. So.
That's unfortunate.
And it's, we paid a little bit more, but it's worth the money because our kids get picked up at point A, dropped off at point B, and I'm not dealing with phone calls and complaints and angry parents calling Devin, and so this is a much better situation than we were last year.
Cool. All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Mr. President, seeing no more business before this board, I motion to adjourn.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Taylor to adjourn. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:43.
What time? Time do you want it, 5?
I just want to give everybody.
5:45 is good.
I don't know when, I don't think it's going to public for comments or anything like that, but I want to let everybody know that they've been trying for a long time, but they did now establish a countywide SRO group that we meet 4 times a year, being led by David Pate, who's the security director for Lakeview School. It's, the first meeting went really well, it's helping us to share the good and bad, but we're all going through some of the biggest points that we were all hitting on. We were access, communication, and basically very supportive of this district. A lot of guys have other issues that they have to deal with, makes their jobs a lot harder, so I want to say thank you for that, especially from the top down, so everybody's very supportive, but I also want you guys to know that Dad is meeting now 4 times a year, so if there's ever any issues that you guys have that you might want me to bring up, please reach out and let me know.
He started to get attended our first regular conversation meeting quarterly as well, we call the kind of school safety directors. He's attending those with me as well, so he hears from kind of the big picture from all districts and really, yes, our kind of talk shop.
It's crazy times out there. Thank you for what you guys are doing. You know, keep this on the straight and narrow best we can. Oh, boy. You know,